Abusua ya mama kwa abasrom koso eba POG Media ene yede mo beko highway ni so highway ni de ensem bebri wo so a yen so ya je pene se ye be ma ya bedwafo no ahu de eko ene de eba na dan na ekoso highway ni so eye NDC top guru a ye frɛ no Haruna Idrisu ene de ensem bebri aba betu dwa na ensem ben na ode aba betu dwa ose Sisia de Dr. Bawumia accept lose Haruna Idrisu ensema or kanono watutu bia mane Dr. Bawumia enye asem keto akra Dr. Bawumia ni speech ye de asem beba o amanfo ne politicians a omo aka ni speech no ho asem no enye asem keto Haruna Idrisu nso ye obi a odi akotene ewo NDC amanyoko ni ma ono no de obeka no ewom oka NDC for mpanyimfo na ọbaa no wamfa anspe Dr. Bawumia ensem a wabro so agu ono enye ensem ketoa eye the lives of Kevin Taylor monso abeka bi Bawumia ensem na obekan no na adodan kwa akufo adom pa oye ne president na osanso ye NPP no ono so by ebeto obeblast Dr. Bawumia eno no ye de brema ensem a ekoso Jubilee House no na we na Haruna Idrisu etna ase ana say Dr. Bawumia ne degita na oye degita no kra no wo Dr. Bawumia nya wo mpo na ode degita na ye den ebai obo NDC fo mpanyimfo bi a omudi kan ede degita na ye den ebai nti o say Dr. Bawumia no on step back nensem a all kanyina no enim enti no oye den ompo opposition ne de or the NPP beko ye be pese ye be me abedwafo no be me akona yakwa kotie ensem a ekoso e wo highway ni so answer na ye beko no wo ensem kan bi afa share ye comment section like share na ma afofro so answer into me enkabi madam ase.
Listen to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The driver mate, as he himself refers himself to, is quite significant to recognize that he's just exemplified a walking contradiction of his persona, and he's suffering from a political disease of a syndrome that you can call a messageless disease. And
how so? What do you mean?
Struggling to have a message because he wants in one breath to take credit for some little successes of the Nanado MPP government, and in another breath walk away from its seeming failures. So he was at best a manufacturer of incongruities, both political and economic policy incongruities. Now, if you take and do a deeper content analysis of his presentation, an example to show the difference between Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and if you allowed my narrative to flow, I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also just failed to accept responsibility, which is one of the core requirements of a good leader. I'm responsible. I take full responsibility that this is not what we envisage to build. A stable country, stable economy. The economy is evidently in a mess. So take some responsibility for it. And when I say incongruities, I just give you an example. Ghana's gold reserves will be owned 100% by the state and the republic. A contradiction in terms. Read Article 2576 of the Constitution. It reads, and I quote, every mineral in its natural state in the Republic of Ghana. So what message has he delivered? So our gold reserves are already the property of the government of Ghana, vested in the president that is assisting to lead this country and to supervise for optimal use of it. Now, if you say that our gold have the capacity, work without money. You need money in order to explore. So you look for private partnership. In any case, in the same constitution, he is seeking to do nationalization. Those you have already given contracts to mine gold, are you going to seize their contracts? When you say you are going to have 100% ownership, that is scary for foreign investors. That is scary for the attraction of foreign direct investment. That is scary for a government which must be seen producing an enabling environment to attract foreign direct investment into this country. another contradiction in 10. He says that we would use PPP, which is public-private partnership, to build road infrastructure. Another contradiction. Where in the world can you build a road infrastructure, even an airport infrastructure, when you've done away with tolls? Everywhere in the world. What helps you in order to get people into the road sector is to give them an opportunity to toll and recoup their money. So in one breath, this government says that no to tolls. We don't want tolls. Do away with tolls. And then you are coming with a policy which underpinning is hinged on the only way you can have successful private sector participation. For instance, you want to pre-game by attacking the record of our own government. So this question is to Dr. Bawumia. The president is asking you, when you do that, then you become party candidate. Is the president saying that Bawumia is not a party candidate? So I'm now convinced that Bawumia is a loser and he has lost the 2024 presidential election on the strength of his inability to carry Ghanaians along with his message. How can any Ghanaian accept a president who launches what he calls Ghana's next chapter, selfless leadership and bold solutions for the future, without a comment on agriculture, which is the trust and future of the Ghanaian economy? In terms of export, you'll be dependent on agriculture. In terms of the success of your manufacturing sector, you depend on agriculture. In employment, 60% of your employment is agriculture. You deliver a policy blueprint on Ghana. I'm wondering whether this speech was meant for Ghana or for another country, maybe some desert country where there is no opportunity to Ghana. Farm or to NDC. Indeed, even from President Rawlings, laid the foundation for a digital, innovative Ghanaian economy, led by Edward Salia, followed subsequently by John Dramani Mahama, followed subsequently by Kandapa, Professor Michael Kwe, and Haruna Idrisu. And just to appreciate it, when you talk about money interoperability,
mobile money interoperability,
don't even go to mobile money.
Okay.
I want to speak to a technical issue, and for me, words have technical meaning.
Okay,
you cannot conceptualize mobile interoperability if there is no mobile interoperability itself.
Okay, if
there was no interconnect between Vodafone and MTN and Vodafone, MTN and Airtel, your money interoperability of Bank of Ghana would not work. Therefore, he came to meet a system which already was interoperable. That is why you could generate a call from a GSM call into even a CDMA call. So the infrastructure was being built. In fact, all the investors in Ghana are not even making use. And I think that Professor Ellis of the former Vice Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, I'm lucky he's listening to me, someday we'll speak to this. We laid fiber optic in all the country's universities. And we laid fiber optic through Kumasi, Kintampo to Sunyani, to Sankansi. I went to Sankansi to commission post-Vodafone sale when we took over the assets of Vodafone as Republic of Ghana. Therefore, he must accept that somebody laid the foundation for a digital, innovative economy. Indeed, I should even recognize Kweku Sechiado. Some of it, I worked with him as then chairman. We had to do mobile number portability. And even the same law, which is the law they are still using. So how come that you are champions of digital innovation? When you commit crime, you'll be caught as a user of that number. The foundation was laid. I'm just saying that.
But that wasn't happening, was it?
No, it needed to happen. If you don't even legislate, how do you start? And then Ghana card. Are you saying that every Ghanaian today has a Ghana card? No. We have always said, let the Ghana card be a public good and let it be increasingly available and increasingly accessible to every Ghanaian. So even this argument of Electoral Commission that it must be the sole reference, nobody will fight it or be against it if every Ghanaian has a Ghana card. Inaugurated around circle at former SCC. It was part
the Accra Digital Center, you mean?
It was part of our discussions even in the Mills cabinet as to what to do to produce jobs for young people, that the idea was conceptualized. I still remember current speaker backbit when I needed to write to him as then Minister for Works and Housing to give out that land, which was being used for electoral commission ballot boxes and others. At least President Mahama with Minister Omani Buama succeeded in building it. It is making a contribution to the building of a digital economy. But more importantly, at the time, what we thought Ghanaians should be doing was what I've now heard them for the first time in their budget statement was business process outsourcing. So 12 years ago, we spoke about it, like airport parking and airport ticketing of a foreign country could be dedicated to a BPO entity in Ghana where you do business process outsourcing and you could win it. So I'm simply saying that he must accept that somebody somewhere, indeed, even the National Communications Authority, we had to make sure that at the time they didn't have any resources to be able to do that. We decentralized the operations into the regional capitals. We deployed fiber, and we even expanded the Ghana Investment Electronic Communication Fund, GIFEC, to go into schools and communities beyond the last mile.
But you also give him the
print of somebody seeking to lead Ghana is without a comment on agriculture. That is politically damning and intellectually unacceptable. To want to lead this country and not accept that many of the things that he said. I mean, if you go through, he was very high, even on the economy. What did you inherit as an economy? What do we have today as an economy? Now, today, he proudly can say that they have brought down inflation from 54 to 23%. Who took it to 54%? Somebody must accept responsibility. That he took it to 54%. Now he says that we should celebrate Bank of Ghana. Celebrate Bank of Ghana for what? At least the Bank of Ghana is taking some major innovative decision as a central bank of Ghana. But the central bank have also been in breach. Indeed, if you read the recent IMF blueprint, the Article 4 blueprint, I expect that now that Parliament has resumed, the Minister for Finance must walk to Parliament with what he called his borrowing plan, which borrowing plan must respect the minimum standard thresholds of the IMF on what they have agreed to.
You mean they
cannot
that?
That Ghana needs to cap our borrowing and have what we call a debt break, like the Germans have. We should not borrow beyond 65-70% of GDP. And that let it be a rule of thumb for all other political administrations. We are not there. Today, debt to GDP is hovering. It even went over 98%. Can you imagine that? And then years ago, Dr. Bawumia, the trot made.
It has come.
Today, the national debt has exceeded 400 billion, not 120 billion. Now, when you take the private sector of Ghana, all the economic headwinds are at play against the private sector, against individuals, and Ghanaians are going through unacceptable hardships. I mean, the private sector, at what rate are they borrowing? The interest regime is still unacceptable, inflation unacceptable, depreciation of the cedi unacceptable.
But inflation has come.
Of what people say.
Okay.
I'm sure Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will wish that he didn't say some of the things he said. You know that the Gombes have a proverb that if you sing funeral dirges over a sick person and the person fails to die, you lose your voice. I'm sure Dr. Bawumia have lost his voice because when he and Nanado were singing the funeral dirges to the sick person at the hospital, saying that inflation was unacceptable, borrowing was unacceptably high, the only informative thing he said was wanting to reduce the size of government. And he said he would do 50 ministers. That's remarkable. But he would not succeed. No Ghanaian will be convinced by this message that he should be made the president of the Republic of Ghana. Now go to exchange rate regime. cedi to dollar around the NDC, Excellency John Dramani Mahama time, was 4.2. Today, 12.2, and you say, my idea, I've done well. What kind of cedis to a dollar? Maybe the dinar of Dubai or somewhere was the same. How come that ours cannot remain the same? We are not dealing with the volatilities that is affecting the weakness of the exchange regime in Ghana. I think that the answer relies in expanded exports. We should support Ghana's export sector. We are giving money to wrong people, monies which should go into persons who should go into farming is going into wrong hands. I'm currently even probing some releases of money to persons in the name of farming by the Ghana Exim Bank. When I get the names, you would be amazed those who took money.
Why?
As I said, I'm currently researching with a media person to get conclusively to this. Ghana Exim gave him money to do farming. We want to see the state of the farm and how much that money could have done if it was given to poultry farmers in the Brown Harbour region or cashew farmers in the Brown Harbour region. Probably it could be better. So now, national ID card, and as I said, the foundation was laid by President Kufuor, if you recall, that he got right at that particular level, and he should appreciate that.
So let's
abusua wei ne ensɛm a Haruna Idrisu ɛde tu dwana ne nsɛm a ɔde tu dwana deɛ NDC foɔ ne bebree aba abɛka bi a ɔno Haruna Idrisu strong warning ne opposition a ɔno no ɔsɛ ɔgye agyiri mu tawee wɔho sɛ Dr. Bawumia no sɛbi n'adwene ne wɔ fam a ɔntumi ɛmfa mbu Ghana ama mu nti no ɔno deɛ ɔbɛsere Ghanafoɔ na Ghanafoɔ ayɛ den aka NPP ne Bawumia akyi a enye asɛm ketewa koraa yɛda yɛabadwafoɔ ase sɛ ɔmo agye pene na ɔmo akɔtie saa audio wei ayɛ den ama yɛbɛsan so akan mo sɛ mowɔ nsɛmkan bi a mode bɛhyɛ yɛ comment section na like na masan so ahyɛ ama afoforɔ nso nsa atumi ayɛ den aka bi yɛbɛsan so akan mo sɛ ɛyɛ POG Media any updates bi a ɛbɛba bia no yɛbɛbrɛ yɛabadwafoɔ no ama ɔmo nso nsa atumi aka bi medam ase.